Mhm.
Okay, all right. So we have some questions about the lab, and I was gonna, wait a minute, you know what, I'm gonna put it here and then I'll bring me over. Let's see. Okay. Okay, I'm recording. It is April 13th. We have questions about the Chapter 5 lab. All right, so Sabrina, what questions do you have?
I have question about the question for calculate the percentage change in the net operating income.
So at the bottom, right? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
at
so
the bottom.
we'll get to that. And then Rayanne, did you just want to have general questions or what?
Just general.
Okay, so what I'd like to do first is I would like to walk through the spreadsheet one and make sure everybody understands it. And that way I'll have a recording of it for the class. So you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
that's perfect.
All right, so we have reference to the book, and it says go to pages 211 and 213 in the book, okay? And 211 and 213 are just a couple pages back from the lab where it says this is what we're doing and blah, blah, blah. And it's showing you, it's showing you the lab and the squares and everything. So, and I have recreated it here. All right. So selling price per unit. How would you do the selling price per unit for spreadsheet one? What formula would you do? What number would you click on? For data, for column data one. So looking at your data above, where would you, what's the number we want in selling price per unit?
Is it 9B?
You don't need to give me the cell reference, just the number, the dollar amount.
60?
Okay, so what we're going to do, Lisa, is you can either hit the equal sign, and you can see that there, or you can hit the plus sign. I prefer the plus sign, but it doesn't really matter. And then go up here and click on the 60, okay, and hit enter. All right. If you guys are working with a mouse pad, you're going to have to key in the plus, go up to the 60, click on it and hit enter. I strongly recommend you all go out and buy a $15 mouse, a wireless mouse. It will save you a lot of carpal tunnel syndrome. Okay. What number do we want for variable expenses per unit?
45.
Okay, so I'm gonna hit the plus sign again. I'm gonna go click on the 45 and I'm gonna hit enter. Okay. How do we calculate contribution margin per unit? What's the formula for that? How do we calculate contribution margin?
Is it selling price per unit minus variable expense per unit?
Exactly. All right. So we're going to take, and so in this case, what are the numbers, Sabrina?
It's 15.
No, what's the formula?
Oh, it's 16 minus 45 equal 15.
So I'm going to click on 60 and I'm going to click on 45 and enter. Okay. So again, I'm not typing numbers. I'm typing reference. Okay.
Judith, can you share your Excel by any chance?
Am I not sharing?
I can see the windows.
Yeah,
Ah,
I have the window too.
okay. All right. You guys need to call that out a little sooner. All right. Okay, let's do that again. I'm going to show you. I'm all here, all excited. Now, can you see my Excel?
Yep.
Okay. So we're going to say selling price per unit. Here's our data column one. And you've got the data up here, unit sale, selling price per unit. This is like the bike shop today. In the bike shop, it was $500. Variable costs were $300. But here it's 60 and 45. So we're going to go to this selling price per unit, hit the plus or equal sign, go up and grab the 60 and hit enter. Daniel, I am recording this, but you're certainly welcome to record again. Variable expenses per unit, we're going to hit the plus sign, 45, and hit enter. And then to calculate contribution margin per unit, we're going to hit the plus sign, click on the 60, click on the minus sign, click on the 45. I'm sorry, I did that wrong. Let's back up. So I've already got my data down here. So we're going to plus this 60 minus 45 and enter. And what I'm saying here is I don't want to see any 15 or 60 or 45. I just want to see formulas. Okay. Now, do you guys remember how to calculate CM ratio from our bike shop today? So look on the bottom, look on page 22 in your course pack where we did that calculation. So what's the formula for CM ratio? Anybody who knows it can call it out. So. You guys don't remember? How do you do CM ratio? Contribution margin ratio, what is it? And if you have a question, put it in the chat.
I'm not sure if this is right, but sales minus variable cost is the contribution margin, and then so take that number, put it in the numerator, and then divide it by sales.
That's it. That's perfect. Okay, so we're going to take, so remember for the bike shop today, again, we're looking at the bottom of page 22. And we said, if sales are 100%, and I'm sorry, if sales are 250,000, we calculate that as 100%. Variable costs are 150,000. And we calculated the variable cost percent as a percent of sales. And then we calculated contribution margin at 100,000. And we say, what is the contribution margin ratio? And that's 100,000 over the sales. Okay. So for this, what's the formula? What's the numbers that I'm going to use here? Maybe plus what? And just give me the numbers. You don't need to say be this or something. So. So you already said it once, Lisa. So what is it?
Is it 20,000?
Oh, just give me the formula. Like what number divided by what number?
Oh, I see. Well, sales is 20,000, right?
Just work with the unit costs. So because you're
Oh,
going to get the same percent, whether you're working with dollars or with a unit. So CM ratio is what?
15 divided by 60.
That's it. So click on 15, click on divided by, and click on 60, and then hit enter. And then what's variable expense ratio? So what are the what's the dollars for variable expense? And if you don't want to call it out, you can put it in the chat. So that's it, Sabrina. Okay, 45 divided by 60. So we're going to go up and remember that the denominator is sales. In this case, it's unit sales. But it doesn't matter if you use dollars or units because their sales goes up if you sell more. Variable costs go up if you sell more. So whether you're using units or dollars, you should get the same ratio numbers. Okay. So how do what's the formula? So let's flip the page to page 24. There's two formulas for break even. One is calculating break even for unit sales. One is calculating break even for dollar sales. Okay, so what's the formula for break even unit sales? Based on page 24.
Fixed expenses
Good. Keep
per
going.
over unit contribution margin.
So what is that in terms of this data? So give me the numbers for this data. So fixed expenses is how much,
240,000.
right? So you're gonna go up and you're gonna click on 240,000. And then we're gonna divide it by unit contribution margin. So what's the unit contribution margin?
15.
Yeah, so you're gonna click on that. And then you're gonna hit enter. So we need to sell 16,000 to break even. Okay. The data for column 1 is 20,000, but we need to sell 16,000. Okay. Now let's do it again. Break even in dollar sales. What's the formula for break even in dollar sales?
Fixed expenses over contribution margin ratio.
Yeah, so 240,000 divided by what number? What's the CM ratio?
Is it 0.25?
Or you can just go up and click on it. You can just click
Oh, the
here.
25%.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yes, it is 0.25, but don't key that in, Lisa. Just click
Okay.
on the, you've already calculated, let it do the work for you.
Okay.
Okay, so there you are, and I. So you got 960. Now, margin of safety, you got to wait on that because we haven't calculated at this level yet. So let's go down and do that. Let's see. We have compute the degree of operating. Okay, so these questions got reversed. We should have done operating leverage first. Okay, so let's skip to operating leverage. What are your sales dollars if you sell 20,000 units? So what's the math for that? What are you going to do? You got to go up and get your data, 20,000 units, right? For sales. So what's the formula for total sales?
Time selling price per unit.
Just give me the formula in terms of numbers.
Oh, 20,000 times 60.
Exactly, but we're not going to type in 20,000. We're going to click on the 20. And then I don't know if you guys know Excel, and you guys can see the formula up here. For multiplication, we use the asterisk. We don't use the times key, all right? And we're going to come down here and grab the 60, and then we're going to hit enter. And then there's your total sales if you sell 20,000 units, okay? How about variable costs? What's the formula for that?
20,000 times 45.
Yep, 20,000. And again, that asterisk times 45. And come down here, we got 900. Okay, now build me a formula for contribution margin.
Is that just the expenses minus, wait, sales minus the variable expenses?
Yeah, so what numbers are those?
Wait, just the ones that we just calculated, right?
Correct.
So 1,200,000.
Okay,
And then minus the 900,000.
that's it. And so CM is 300,000. And what are fixed expenses?
$240,000.
So we're not going to key that in. We go up to the top and we grab it. And there it is. And now, how do we calculate net operating income?
Contribution margin minus fixed expenses.
Good. So 300 minus 240, and you get 60,000. Okay. Now you guys are going to have to look up operating leverage. What's the formula for operating leverage from your course pack today? On page 25.
Contribution margin over net operating income.
Okay, so we're going to do plus. What's the number?
$15.
No, it's right in front of you. What's contribution margin?
Oh, 300,000.
Yeah. Because if we're going to use net operating income, that's a number. So we can't switch back between sales dollars and
Per
units.
unit. Okay,
that's
got it.
so it's divided by net operating income, right? And you get 5. Okay.
Yep.
All right, now up here, now we can do margin of safety. So sales are $1.2 million. What's margin of safety in terms of dollars? So still on page 25, what is margin of safety? How do we calculate it? What's the formula? You guys took really good notes today.
I mean, my notes just says excess of budgeted sales over the break even.
Okay, so let's say this number $1.2 million is budgeted sales. What's break even? Sales.
I think
Yeah,
Julie
we-
has something in the chat.
Total sales, okay, that's good, Julia. What are the numbers? It's going to be budgeted sales or even actual sales compared to break even. Okay. Right. Okay, so what is margin of safety in percentage? How do we calculate the margin of safety percentage? And this is where it's really weird. Okay, I'm going to bring that PowerPoint back up so you guys can see it. Let me bring it up. Let's do that. Let's switch over. New share. Okay. Margin of safety is the excess of budgeted or actual sales over the break-even sales. So we took $1,200,000 minus break-even, which was $960,000, and we got $240,000. Okay. All right, and that's what they did here. Now, this is the tricky part. So take really good notes here. The margin of safety as a percentage is the net difference. So 240,000 divided by the current sales, not the prior. So this is a new formula that we don't usually use when we use the current as the denominator. Okay. So here we said 50,000 is the margin of safety from 200 to 250. We're not asking for net change. We're asking for margin of safety. So we divide it by the new sales, 250. Okay, you guys all get that. So let's go back to my spreadsheet. And that's margin of safety 240. And the percent is going to be the 240 divided by which number? You can put it in the chat if you like. I see nothing in the chat. So what number do you think it should be? It's not percent growth, it's margin of safety percent, which is the denominator. They're so quiet. So look here, let's go back to the PowerPoint. How did we calculate margin of safety? Margin of safety is the new budgeted sales or actual sales compared to break even. So that's our 50,000 margin of safety. To calculate the percent, we take the margin of safety and we divide it by the new sales. So what number is it going to be for the Excel spreadsheet?
Is it that over 1,200,000?
It is. So we're going to click on that. And it's 20%. So that's a pretty big margin of safety. Okay. All right. Now it says use column E data, which only changes the fixed expenses to 270. Create a new spreadsheet in column E. This is just to check your numbers. Your new operating leverage should work out to 10. Okay. That's how you're checking your formulas. So you're going to do the same formulas here, but with this data. Everything's the same except this fixed cost changes. All right. How much is the new margin of safety percentage? Did it change? Okay, and then explanation. Okay. All right. So that's pretty much it. You can read the other questions. Use the data in column G for a different company. Create a new spreadsheet in here. And then it's saying, what is the margin of safety? What is the degree of operating leverage? So it's just testing you to know how to do these formulas. And then question 3, create a fourth spreadsheet, increase company 2's unit sales by 15%. Okay, so here we go here, plus 15%. This is, so how many units would be? So plus 15%. So you're going to redo, sorry, I'm sorry to scroll up and down. Company 2's unit sales. Okay, so this is company 2's unit sales. How would you increase those sales? What's the formula to increase those sales by 15%? It's 10,000. I want you to increase the sales by 15%. What's the formula? And start with the 10,000 and how are we going to adjust it up?
Are you allowed to type numbers in this case, or?
Yes, you are. Yeah.
Okay, so then can you just do times 1.15?
Yes, you can. Yep. Oh, that didn't work. What did I do? Oh, I forgot to do let's go back. 10,000. I forgot to put the times sign in there. Times 1.15. Okay. So now you're at 11,500. And then you run the whole data all over again. Okay. All right. So I think that's enough for now. That gives you guys an idea of the lab. And I will post this I'll post a link to this on the lab website. I mean, on the lab assignment, I'll post a link. It'll take about an hour or two to create the video and upload it to YouTube. Okay. Any other questions about the lab, Rayanne, or I think I'm afraid Daniel's in a business law class, so he can't talk, but maybe he can type. But anybody else have a question on chapter 5 lab? Okay, I'm going to stop the video so it's all related to chapter 5. And then if you guys have any other questions that you want to ask me, it won't be videoed. So let's stop the recording.